This is question time at Alhambra Investments, and there is always so much great and interesting stuff to talk about. And so, Joe and Steve, I want to bring you in today. Let's talk about the Oracle of Omaha. Let's talk about Warren Buffett, the guy who is supposed to be the investor's investor. And Joe, let's start off with you. Um, this year has been kind of strange because Warren Buffett has been selling, selling, and most of it's been Apple and it's been Bank of America. What's going on there?
Well, I think that people try to read too much into this. They think it's, oh, Warren Buffett's selling because the market's too expensive, or he thinks the market's going to crash or something. And yeah, but Warren Buffett doesn't work that way. So Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, who's passed away now, but Munger, they were long-term investors. I mean, gosh, Warren Buffett's 90 something, 93. It's been around my entire career. But anyway, long term, he defines that in lots of different ways. Look, what I look at when you look at Berkshire Hathaway, which is the company, not think talk about the company, not the name or not the man. Um, it's a company that's gotten really large. It's got $1 trillion market cap now, and so the amount of cash that he's holding, which by the way is about 325 billion, it's high, but it's not outrageously high as a percentage of their total assets. Right now, and like the history here, just so everybody knows, Warren Buffett himself has said, "I'm not a good market timer." You guys might remember in 2008, he wrote this editorial in the New York Times where he said, "I'm buying American," and I believe that was in October of 2008. It could have been November, but I'm pretty sure it was late October. Yeah, he didn't catch the bottom. Market went down another 25% from there. And market didn't bottom till March of '09. But those investments he was making, his famous line in that was, "I'm buying American," by the way. So he was buying the market then. And those investments paid off pretty handsomely. Anyway, the point is this. Going into 2008, you think Warren Buffett's a great market timer? Yeah, his cash level was a lot lower then than it is now. In fact, his cash level at the time going into 2008, in September, actually, let's see, September of 2008, his percentage of cash and short-term assets to the total assets was about 12%. Today it's 28. So I don't know that it means anything. He certainly didn't predict 2008. And by the way, the same thing applies to 2000. In 2000, in March of 2000, when the market peaked, his cash and short-term investments as a percentage of his total assets was 3.3%. So I don't think he's doing this as a market timing thing. It's a big company. They've made some changes to the portfolio, I suppose. It's just a big company and it's got some cash on hand. Maybe it has something to do with hurricanes. Maybe that's part of the deal. Remember, he is an insurance company. They may have to be paying something out. I don't know. There's no way to know why he has cash on hand. But the bottom line is that right now it's less than it's been at its peak. The biggest cash level he ever had was in September of 2001 when it was 38, almost 39% of total assets. We're not even close to that yet. So I don't know if it means anything other than that Warren Buffett needs cash for something. What that something is, I don't know.
Steve, you want to clarify any of that? I've read somewhere that he thought he was doing this because was a recession coming, but who knows? Yeah, you've been following him a long time.
Yeah, so I will look into my crystal ball about the Omaha of the Oracle of Omaha, what he's seen in his. I think Joe mentions a really important point. Market cap of over 1 trillion. That makes it really hard to invest in public markets, right? Because you got to take a position big enough to actually, benefit you. And that's a pretty huge position. And if you're talking about public companies, you get pretty quick to the point where you're moving the needle. You're moving the stock by just trying to take the size of the position. So it kind of limits what you can do. And then, yeah, he's not a market timer. He does care about valuations. And when you take a look at the companies that have the kind of float like an Apple, I mean, there's not a lot of these mega cap stocks, and a lot of them do have valuation issues. And Buffett does care about metrics. He likes getting good values. So I do think a potential answer to this, and it's something we've seen him done before, is M&A. That we could be seeing him make some moves and buying companies entirely with some of this cash allocation. And that kind of addresses this issue he has of having to put a lot of cash to work, and having a lot of trouble doing it in the valuation, excuse me, model valuation environment we have right now, and the options he has. So I don't know for sure. My crystal ball is not that great, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him do some M&A out of this.
You know, UPS just won't deliver batteries for crystal balls anymore. I don't know what's going on there. But, you know, in all of this, Joe, Berkshire Hathaway is buying one stock. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And just full disclosure here, we own this stock. And so, we do own it, and we've owned it pretty much the same amount of time that he has. The stock is Sirius Satellite XM, Sirius XM, the satellite radio company. And Berkshire Hathaway now owns a third of the company. They own 33%. And they've been buying it steadily for, I think, about a year, and as recently as a couple of weeks ago. So they are continuing to buy it. We bought the position, and I'm not sure exactly how long we've been in. Not quite a year. I don't think we've been in a year yet. But we bought it through one of the Liberty Media spinoffs. Liberty Media had one of the stub company that all it did was hold Sirius stock, because they had bought Sirius many years ago. But anyway, that finally got spun off into actual Sirius stock. If you own the Liberty Media piece, they ended up giving you Sirius stock, and they wound that company up. So we own it. We're not the only ones that own it. It's also owned by Stevie Cohen at 0.72, big hedge fund, and Israel Englander, which runs Millennium Management, another really big, hugely successful hedge fund. So we don't get opportunities often to say we're in some company like that. So we want to let everybody know that, yeah, we found the same thing that they did, or maybe they found what we found, too. However you want to look at it. It's an interesting company, and we'll see how it plays out. They own a third of the company now, so it's going to be interesting to see if they continue to buy it.
This is going to be great watching the Oracle of Omaha and see what he does and how he does it. So stay tuned, watch him with us.